Hey guys, in this class, or in this video, sorry, we're going to be looking at something called transformations, and we're looking at the congruent transformations, which means we're going to be looking at translations, reflections, and rotations. All right, so this corresponds with 1.7 in your textbook. So a little bit of vocabulary here. A transformation is an operation that moves or changes a geometric figure in some way to produce a new figure. The new figure is called the image. So here we have an original figure labeled A, and then if we move this figure, move it over here, we produce what's called an image. It's supposed to be exactly the same, an image figure. And if this figure is called A, then we're going to call this one A with a little apostrophe, which we pronounce as A prime. So this would be called, the image here would be called A prime. The original figure is sometimes called the pre-image figure. Okay, then translation is something that moves every point, come on computer, work with me here, every point of a figure the same distance in the same direction. So that's what a translation does. It moves it left, right, up, down. A reflection uses a line of reflection to create a mirror image of the original figure. And then last we have a rotation, which is going to be a turn. It's going to turn the figure about a fixed point. And that point would be called the center of rotation. And then a congruent transformation changes the position of the figure without changing its size or shape. So the resulting image will be exactly the same size, exactly the same shape. All right, so here's a couple of transformations. In part A, we have the blue, let's call that A, and then the red we'll call the image A prime. This, what type of transformation do you think this is? Is it a translation, which moves things left, right, up, down? A rotation, which turns things, or a reflection, which reflects a figure across a line? And then think about, what about B? Is it a translation, a rotation, or a reflection? Well, part A is a reflection over the line, over this horizontal line, H. And so like this point gets reflected down here. If I were to fold this over that line, those two images would line up exactly on top of each other. So if I look at drawing, copying that, and if I take that image and I flip it up, down, it got flipped over that line. And so the distance from the line that A is the same distance from the line that A prime is. For B, that's a rotation of the figure about a point. So it's turning it. And the point of rotation is, the center of rotation is P. All right, this next one, C, is just moving something to the right, and that is a translation. Okay, so this example right here, I want you to think whether triangle STR, so first of all, when you're looking at this, make sure that you're, this is STR, this is the triangle we're talking about. Is it tell whether STR is a rotation of PQR about the origin. If so, give the angle and direction of the rotation. So if you look at this, if I click on this triangle that I just drew here, if I rotate it 180 degrees about that point, so let me see if I can do, let me try to do that again. I'm going to draw that figure over. Hold on a second. I was going to see if I could actually get the smartboard to allow me to rotate about that point, but this is a reflection of, it's a 180 degrees. Notice this green dot was facing up, now it's facing down, so it's a 180 degree rotation. And if you're going 180 degrees, it doesn't matter if you're going clockwise or counterclockwise. So that's why it says either or. If it's a smaller rotation than 180 or bigger than 180, then you'd have to determine clockwise or counterclockwise. All right, so coordinate notation for a translation looks like this. If you have a point on the pre-image and you want to translate it, A units to the right and B units to the and B units up, assuming if we assume that A and B are positive, that's what this translation would do. If A and B are negative, it would go left and down. But what it's saying is the original figure is translated horizontally A units and vertically B units. So let's do an example. Okay, we have a figure ABCD. It has vertices -5, 5, which is right here. So that's my A. And B is at -1, 2. So there's my B. C is at -3, 0. And then D, we have -5, 0. So this is D. So my figure looks like this. If I connect the dots here, A, B, C, D, and back to A again. If we want to perform this translation, we're going to take the XY values and we're going to add 6 to the X coordinate. We're going to subtract 2 from the Y coordinate. There's two ways you can think about this. One, let me just copy this real quick. If I just draw over this, I'm going the other direction, but it doesn't really matter if I get the whole figure there. All right, so what this means is I'm going to add 6 units to the X and I'm going to subtract 2 units from the Y. So I'm going to take this point right here and I'm going to drag this over 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to bring it down 2 units. So on a smartboard, I can drag that whole figure and it makes it pretty easy to draw the transformation. But sometimes it won't be that easy to do when you don't have a smartboard to use. But here's how else you can do it. We take this point A, this vertex right here, and if we perform this translation, then my new point, A prime, the image point, is going to be, we're going to take the X coordinate, -5, and we're going to add 6 to that. -5 plus 6 is 1. And then 5, if I put 5 in here and I subtract 2 from 5, I get 3. So this point, its image point, is over here at 1, 3. So that's A prime. So you can also do this translation to each of these points and then plot the new set of points and connect those dots. So for B here, B prime would become the X coordinate, -1, and I'll just write it out here. -1 plus 6, which is going to be 5. And the Y coordinate, we're going to take the original Y coordinate, put that in here, just putting it in there, and minus 2 from that. So that becomes 5, 0, which is right here. That's my B prime. And then I have C, which is going to, its new coordinates are going to be -3 plus 6, and Y is 0, so 0 minus 2, and so that becomes 3, -2. So 3, -2 is right here, so this is my C prime. That's the image after it's been translated 6 to the right and down 2. And then D, if you take the X coordinate, -5, and add 6 to that, and the Y coordinate of 0 and subtract 2 from that, that new point is going to end up at 1, -2, which is right here, over 1, down 2. Oops, I meant to call that D prime. All right, so next example, show the location of the image, the purple, after the translation given. So XY, the original XY coordinates, are now going to become X plus 8 and Y plus 2. So each coordinate here, so if I draw this right on top of here, if I think, okay, starting from -3, 3, because I have the smartboard, I'm going to move it over 8 units. And the X coordinate's at -3. If I move that over 8 units, what's going to happen? Oops, the purple figure here. I'm going to end up at +5. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units, which is, if this started out as an X coordinate of -3, right here, the X is -3, my new X is going to be 8 units to the right, because we're adding 8 to that, which makes it correspond with 5. But then I also need to add 2 to the y coordinate, so this y coordinate right here is 3, so I'm going to go up 2 units from 3. Come on, purple figure, move up to 5. So my new image will be, it's translated 8 to the right and up 2. If you, like I said, don't have a smart board, then what you can do is take each of these coordinates, let's go purple, these coordinates, we have -4, 8, -3, 3, -7, 3, and -6, 8. You take those coordinates and you plug them in here. My x, when my x is -4, if I add 8 to that, it becomes +4. 8 plus 2 is 10. So this point right here on the original figure corresponds with the image at 4, 10, which is this point right here. So if this was point A, then this would be A prime. Why don't you guys do that for the remaining 3 points and check your answer. Come back in a second. So -3, 3 would move to 5, 5. -7, 3 would move to 1, 5. -6, 8 goes to 2, 10. Okay, so another translation here. Why don't you guys try to find the new coordinates. So we have the same coordinates here as the previous figure. So we have -3 on the original. We have -3, 3. We have let me go back. So the same point. It says this -7, 3. Okay, perform the transformation and then get your new image points and check it with me in a second here. All right, so my new figure, the purple figure, has been translated 2 units to the right and 3 units down. The coordinates of the points are here, -1, 0, -5, 0, -4, 5, and -2, 5. Okay, so that's it for translations for right now. There will be another video on reflections and rotations coming up, so watch for that.